Good morning, everybody. It's 6 o'clock Monday, Tuesday morning. This is a gentle flow for you with, we're going to run through sun salutation twice and then coming into some core work. Right, I want you to come to the front of your mat and take a nice deep breath in, lifting up. Exhale, gently fold. Bend the knees lots and lots here. Support your spine. Rolling all the way up, halfway. Hands to shins. Land the hands and step back to plank. Let's drop our knees here and then sink all the way back. So stretch through your spine, drop your head down, soften into the forearms. Take a breath and prepare for your practice. Give yourself a pat on the back for arriving and lengthen out the arms, tuck the toes. Let's come up through some cat-cow just to warm the spine, cat and cow. So lifting and lift the tailbone nice and high and push up, exhale up. Inhale, release. And one more there, exhale up. And inhale, release. Nice, okay, just come through some spinal alignment and rotation. Taking out your right arm and your left leg, lengthen, push and stay balanced. And then bring the knee down and slide the arm underneath. Breathe and release. And rising all the way up. Lifting nice and high. And then land. Let's come to the other side. Left arm, right leg, lengthen it out. Don't do the same arm and the same leg. It's really hard to balance. Inhale, lifting up. Bring the knee down and slide through. Breathe nice and long down here and then release up, all the way up. Watch towards the top of the hand and land. Good. Come back to your plank and then push your hips high and find your downward facing dog. Pedal out through your heels. Nice, float forward. We're going to bring those knees down and slowly lower the body down, pulling the belly into the spine as you drop. Roll the shoulders back, find a cobra on this first round. Lifting up. Drop the shoulders from the ears at the top of the move and release. And let's go another 2 times here. This time we'll leave the forearms on the ground, rising up, and then gently lift them and look round to the right side. And then gently down. Feel the stretch in the abdominals. And one more, we're coming up and then around to the left side. And then releasing. Go, plant the hands under the shoulders, pushing up. Sweeping those hips to the heels. Find lengthen your spine, tuck your toes. And then walking yourself forward to the front of your mat, gently as you land your feet. And then roll your spine, restack, come all the way up and lift. Good, hands through into prayer. And let's go again. Inhale, same thing, a little bit quicker, exhale. Let's come to a halfway lift here. Hands into shins and long through your spine, lovely. Exhale, step back to your plank. Downward facing dog. Come in through your knees. Come in through your cat stretch. Push the floor away from you, chin to chest. Eye gaze towards your toes. And release back into your cow. So this is a flexion extension in the spine. And one more. Pushing up. And releasing away. Nice. Land your hands nice and wide, knees wide. Balancing in, right arm, left leg. Nice. Squeeze. And bring it down, sweep the arm around and under. Hold 3, 2, 1, rising up all the way in. And then land. Go the other side. So sweep it forward, hold. And bring it down, the back knee down, side, and then through. Rotate your spine. Breathe and release. Just to check in, one side might feel different to the other. I feel like I want to stay for ages on that side. Tuck those feet back nice and long and then downward facing dog. Float your body forward. Knees come down if you need to. Elbows are in and you're sinking all the way down. Roll the shoulders back, release the hands, find your cobra. Now as we're coming into our flows, as we continue, the hands will start to come back a little bit closer to the armpits or maybe the rib cage, and we're rising up, and this will be our upward facing dog. You can take as much as you need to off the floor. The knees can stay down or they can lift up. Nice. Looking up, widen your collarbones. Knees are down and sink gently all the way back. Good. Land the hands, tuck the toes, pushing into those heels. Pedal out gently and then walk gently to the front of the mat. Rolling slowly up. So we're going to take that spinal work out of the middle and go straight through our sun salutation A. Inhale, inhale, exhale. A little bit quicker, halfway. Exhale, lower, step back to plank. To your downward facing dog. Float forward to plank. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift up dog or cobra, your choice. And down dog. Bend the knees, look forward. Step, hop, walk, or jump to the front. If you feel warm, you can jump. Roll up. I will not be jumping yet. Rising in. And go again. Fold. Last one. Halfway. Exhale. Walk, hop, step, or jump back. And then downward facing dog. Float forward. Start to warm. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. Exhale, downward facing dog. And gently come down through your knees. And we're going to roll over to our back. So from here, we start to do our core work. So when we're coming into each of these core positions, from here I want you to roll down gently and allowing each vertebrae to drop into the ground one at a time. Now, taking the legs, the feet, under the knees, you're going to bend your knees and land your feet. Here, we're bracing the belly down towards the spine. So core connection here on our back or supine facing up, okay? From here, we need to make sure everything is braced before we start to throw in any exercises. So if you focus on from your hips to your ribs, in this region here, we need to really focus on anchoring everything nice and strong so we're able to conduct our exercises well. So the first thing we do is we brace the lower back into the floor. This is where we tip the pelvis back slightly, finding that imprint. The belly draws down, so we squash. So maybe we squash our sponges underneath us, or we're squashing those blueberries evenly, right to left, okay? And from here, as the feet are placed on the floor, I want you to imagine that you're trying to draw the feet in together. Visualize this like a block or a ball between your knees, and we're squeezing. We don't pull the knees in, but we squeeze gently. This reinforces the adductor muscles. Now we're going to draw the pelvic floor in and on. So front and back, holding on like you needed the toilet, holding on here. So that reinforces into the pelvic floor, and the lower abdominals start to fire. So from here, the ribs pull down towards the hips. Okay, now as you do this, we don't want to round the shoulders up. So keep everything down and passive in your upper body, but everything through the center reinforces and fires up. Same thing applies. We go from the right rib to the left hip across the body. Okay, diagonally, and vice versa, across. So we are reinforced and squeezed in as much as we can be here. Now, as we do this, we still need to be able to talk or breathe or function normally. So it's not a holding our breath position. It is a squeezing in. And as some of you already know, this is where we would like to reinforce our cough sensation. So if we place our hands on our core here, on our belly, so the thumbs are on the ribs and the little fingers are down on the hips. And if you just take a cough, like a Right, now what happens for you? Be honest with yourself, what happens? So do your ribs pull down slightly more? Do they cinch in a bit more? Does the side waist reinforce itself in towards the belly button? Do you hold onto your pelvic floor just a little bit more? So our cough is a 10 out of 10. Now we dial that back to about a 6. Other people like to think about this sensation as if you imagine someone was going to drop heavy weight on your belly or stand on your belly, what would you do? How would you reinforce and brace in there? Okay, so everything is on, charged up. And then we go. From here, pull the heels off the ground. Now you need to constantly keep those blueberries squeezed or the sponges squeezed from the water squeezed from the sponges, whichever vision you've got under here, okay? So from here, we're going to lift those legs up. Now, nothing changes under here. If it does, you just lift one leg, okay? As you lift the other leg, make sure you reinforce and that everything stays the same. Now, if you lift the head, neck, and shoulders from here, this reinforces that imprint, but we want to keep it down nice and strong. Draw the shoulders wide, and we're just going to hold in this position here, nice and strong. Breathing. And as you breathe out, your belly reinforces back down, okay? Squeezing. So you want to be able to breathe and release in this position. We're just holding here. Any tension in the neck, you can brace behind the head or drop the head back down. Entirely up to you. Now really make sure that just above your waistline is also anchored in. So you might have to work harder there, depends on your anatomy and the line of your spine. Lifting those legs up, and we're holding on for another 10, 9, reinforce, 8, starts to work. This is an isometric contraction here. Lift those lower legs, make sure they're parallel to the floor. Yep. 5, 4, 3, 2, pelvic floor on, 1, and bring it down. Good. So tuck the knees in. So that's our holding move. And now we're going to work into some movement in that same reinforced core line. So from here, whatever it is that you need to do to switch that on, we're going to lift, bring them in. Now try to reinforce from here with your legs up. Reinforce in, find that cough sensation, squeeze it all on and lift. And we're going to come from here into a cross, what we call a cross crawl. So from here, as if we're pushing the leg forward. So push your right arm forward to the right leg. Now, as your leg goes out, you're going to find that that core might change its positioning, okay? So right arm, right leg goes forward, and left arm goes back, and then bring it back into center. And the other side. Out you go. Push, brain training, and in. Now, if you find when your leg goes long, you think, oh, I lose my connection, keep the leg higher, okay? And then in. So push, as if you're pushing the leg away. So same arm, same leg. We push away. Push, yes. And in. Now what you want to do is reinforce that you don't wobble left and right here. Everything stays anchored and in. And let's go for an 8 count, okay? 8 and in. And 7 and in. Lift those lower legs so they're parallel to floor. 6 in. 5. They're a warming sensation, these moves. 3. And last 2. And your last 1. 1. Good. Bring it in. Tuck the knees to the chest. Give yourself a little squeeze. And good. We're going to release gently. On this one, we just keep the feet down, okay? And you're going to work to lift the upper body. So anchor everything in, reinforce into your core, pull your belly to your spine, tip that hip line back slightly. Your feet stay down. You're going to work, this one's called a thigh slide. So you take your hands to your hips, and from here, You reach up and you reach your fingertips towards your knees, okay? And then releasing back down. And you're coming up, big exhale, and back down. Now think about reinforcing that belly back. Now what is really helpful is if you place your hand on that lower belly, as you exhale, lifting up, try not to pop the belly and round it up. Keep it squashed down gently. And rise. And at the bottom of the move, make sure you soften the shoulders back down, okay? Coming up, 4 more. And rolling down. So the slower you do these, we could roll through these real quick and come up and down, up and down, up and down. You'd probably lose that intention through your middle. So just 3 more here. Slow, pause, engage, and down. 2 more. And release. And 1 more. And gently release. Beautiful. Okay, tuck those knees into the chest. Give yourself a rock here. And then you're going to rock all the way up. Come up. This is just a nice little back massage. And rise. Okay, let's come back round onto our front. Stretching all that out. So 3 exercises there for you. 1 holding. 1 with the legs up and 1 with the legs down. You're going to walk in towards the front of your mat and come into your next rounds of sun salutation. So roll up slowly here. Here we incorporate a little bit of leg line. So inhale and exhale. Halfway lift and exhale gently down. Good. From here, let's step our right leg back. Find a nice low lunge. If you need to here, you can drop your knee to the floor or stay off. Let's step the front foot back to match it. Downward facing dog. Come gently into your vinyasa flow. So we'll float forward. Knees down if you need here. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. Good. And tuck toes and downward facing dog. Okay. Let's step the right leg forward again. Good. Nice, and stay in that nice low lunge. Now just take a little rock forward and back, forward and back. And then straighten the leg out and step forward. Forward fold. And we'll roll gently up and restack our spine. Good, inhale. From the top all the way down. Did we do a halfway lift? I can't remember. Halfway lift if we didn't. Exhale, lower. Good. Step your left leg back this time. In your lunge. Remember, you can drop the knee if you want to here. Now, in your lunge, just check that your whole foot is flat, your knee is in line with your ankle, and your hands are down here to support, so we're working into the hip line. Good. From here, step the front foot. Now, let's not make any noise as we take the front foot back. So if we're quite low and lazy in our hips and our core, the foot scrapes back, and we do have a video about this. So let's push out of the floor, lift the hips, engage the core, draw the belly to the spine, and pull the foot back. So we try not to make any mat scraping noises. Increases the longevity of your yoga mat also. So let's float forward, and down, and up. And downward facing dog. And let's step the left leg forward. Yep, lovely. Now, same thing, knees in line, and we're dropping in. So let's bring some movement forward and back. So whether you think about just changing the angle of your shin, forward and back, or rolling forward on that back foot. Just a few rocks, just to mobilize in your hips. And then gently straighten out the leg as you just reinforce, bring your back foot forward. And fold, and then restack your spine. Good. Coming up, and hands come through into prayer. So we're going to work through those lunges. Again, inhale, exhale, Halfway lift. Exhale back. Step your right leg back. Sink into your lunge. Holding down here. Now, place your left hand on your left knee and then lift up. A little bit stronger. Push. Reach here. And now try to reach back slightly and then over to the side. 3, 2, 1. Bring it back down. Isn't that nice to land? And then step your front foot back. So opening your hip flexor. Come through your vinyasa flow, float forward. Now knees down if you need it. On our way down here, so if we drop our knees, elbows are in, and I want your belly to drop last. So think about dropping, nose, chest, chin, belly pops up through the center, and then it lands, okay? So we're using the core a little bit more through there. Tuck toes, and back you come. Inhale, lift the right leg high, then step the right leg forward. Good. And then stretch out through that front leg. And bend. And back. And bend. And one more. Back. And bend. Nice. And then stepping in. Forward fold. Forward fold. And roll gently up. And lift. Let's do the same thing on the other side. Folding in. Halfway lift. Nice. Exhale down. Step your left leg back this time. And you're back into that one position. And then in your lunge, dropping in, right hand to right knee and rising up. Now you might only come to here and that's perfectly fine. And if you can, straighten out your front arm, push the knee, lift high and then come over. Maybe come over. And then release. Oh, I love landing that one. Back you go. Downward facing dog. Now float forward. Now I want you to think about lifting that core line up. So pulling up in through the middle. Okay. As you drop, come to your knees and dropping in. So nose, chest, elbows tight, pull them in, squeeze them in, and then drop and rise. Good. Tuck toes and bring it back. And this time we lift the left leg and then step the left leg forward. Nice gentle land here. And then find some length in the back of the knee. And forward. And straighten. And forward. Good. And from here, stepping in and take your forward fold. Stay down here, let go. Hold on to your elbows and just gently rock from side to side. Okay, so from here we work to come back down and we're going to focus on core work in this section on our front. So what we call supine, no don't, we call it prone, facing down. So the hands are down, you're stepping back and you'll find your plank position here. Hands are under shoulders. You're dropping down through the knees. And you're going to come all the way down. Now focus on pulling your elbows in like we were on that sunset, on the vinyasa flow, all the way down. Keep the hips up slightly. Elbows are in and you're dropping your chest and your chin. Good. And that midline pulls up off the ground. Engage your pelvic floor here and squeeze. So you've got your toes, your knees, your chest, your chin, and both hands. And we call this one our 8-point stand. And then drop yourself all the way down to the ground. Soften in and let go. Okay. So I want you to lie here on the ground, just appreciate having a small rest. It's perfectly fine. Now, in this position, just observe how your body lies in the ground, balanced out left to right. Nothing on. Nothing engaged, no tension anywhere. So it's crucial that when we're doing our core exercises, you know the difference between these. So as we lie on our back, reinforcing our back into the ground, we've got heaps of feedback between the spine, the back. We've got lots of cues to engage our belly back into our spine, okay? Now in this position, you've also got the joy of having the ground to feed back from. So if this is your belly, if this is your core, the first thing we do, we've got this imaginary piece of rope, cotton, silk, whatever you want to call it, pulling up through our midline and drawing our belly in towards our spine. Now, as we lift up, we don't need to lift like boink and go like this, okay, it's too much. We just literally draw the belly off. So if you lie on a surface and think, oh, that's cold, you know, that initial pull up that you get in your core. So the same thing happens. So we place our fingers underneath our core line here and we squeeze the belly in and up off the floor. So a lot of people say to me, I can't get my belly off the floor. I say, do not worry, it's okay. Just imagine it's coming. So you can still tweak those muscles and fire the muscles and have your belly on the floor still. So it means that you can reinforce from the inside out. So we're pulling up to start with. Okay, so if we take our hands under here, you'll start to feel. Cinch those the side waist in. Visualize that imaginary corset just squeezing you in. And then, like you do when you take a photo on the beach, okay? Squeezing the belly into the spine, pulling up. So you do engage the glutes slightly, but they don't take all that work. Now, the same thing happens here. The ribs pull down towards the hips, and the hips pull up towards the ribs. So you've got that reinforced core, okay? And diagonally as well. So right to left hip, right rib to left hip, squeezing across. So those side stabilizers are working. Hands coming under, you can feel. Now, how about if we cough here? What happens? Oh, something clicks in my rib there, that's weird. Okay, so squeeze. So as you cough, there. You squeeze up, maybe a little bit more, maybe you don't. Now, we want to keep this sensation on, but soften out of the shoulders. So if we let go of those hands, keeping that core lifted. Now, if you visualize here, my hand is your belly or your body. Now, I want you to think about being on the ground floor as we were started. So now let go of everything. Just let go. You're right in the basement here, okay? From here, I want you to be able to lift up for 5 floors. So you're not dialing right the way from 0 to 10. You're going to lift up 5 floors. So we draw up to floor number 1, pull in a little, floor number 2, number 3, coming up, number 4, and number 5. Holding at the top, re-engaging. Now from 5, down to 4, down to 3, back up to 5, down to 4, down to 3, down to 2, back up to 4, down to 3, down to 2, don't forget to breathe, down to 1, draw back up to 3, and then relax down through 2 and 1. Now, as you can feel and sense, this sensation of squeezing the core on nice and strong, we want to be working if we need to really reinforce for any particular reason, and then be knowing the difference between on and off. So in this position with our core, we don't want to just go, we're on or we're off like a light switch. We need it to be a dimmer, okay? So you need to be able to dial it up and dial it down in whatever position you're in. So from here, we're just going to take the hands out wide and the legs slightly wider. Now dial your core up to your 3rd floor. That's where all the bargains are. Okay, now you're going to lift your right arm and your left leg. Now dial up to the 3rd floor, hold, stretch the arm out gently, stretch the legs slightly wider, hold. So as your leg moves, your core will go, whoop, hang on. So you reinforce that core, belly to spine, pull up to the third floor, and then release. Good. And the other side, lift, and extend, lengthen and widen, hold, third floor, pulls in, squeeze, 2, 3, and then release. Good. Holding on that third floor, still holding. Now we're going to work to come up slightly higher. Now as you lift your anatomy, what happens is your belly sometimes will push down just because of the shape of your body. Still dial up to the third floor. It's going to be a little bit stronger. Now keep your hands down and lift your legs, both legs. Hold. Hold. Soften into the shoulder. If the shoulder and the neck gets tight, you just drop the eye gaze to the floor or put the head down. Squeeze and hold. So this is a holding move here, okay? Engaging, drawing up, squeezing. If you feel like you're going to lose it, try to get up to the fourth floor. And then release the legs and soften down. Good. And now we just lift the upper body. The feet stay anchored, but tuck your toes in so your legs are active. Squeezing in, belly to spine, reinforce, lift up to the third floor, and then lift the arms. Holding. Now we go T-shape in the arms, go nice and wide. Sweep the hands back, little fingers coming in towards your thighs, and then coming forward, 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 forward. If it's too much, bend the arms, hold, 2, 3, pulling back, hold, and then release. And release your legs and drop out to the basement. Let it go. So you begin to start to feel these particular muscles love endurance work. So this is why as we hold them up, we dial them up to, if we're on our back, we're dialed up to about a 6, and here we're on our third floor. They love endurance and they love to be held the whole time. And it's a great indicator for you if you know that, oh, actually I've let go, right, I've got to stop, I've got to start again, and then introduce that kind of core connection again, okay? So we're going to come from here, arms and legs, both of them. So this one, as we lift up, our belly will want to come down into the floor. So you've got to work really hard to find that third floor each time. Squeezing in, we're lifting the arms slightly wide on the mat with the feet, lifting up, squeeze, the glutes will kick in here, and then tap, and then lift, and tap. So third floor on the core, lifting high and low with those legs. Reach, tap. 4, we're off to 10. 5, 6, ribs to hips, belly to spine, pelvic floor on. 3 more. 3, 2, 1. 1 for luck. And bring it in. Good. Now, push into your knees. Take your time to come back into some kind of flexion in your spine because you've been extended there the whole time. So just drop in. And we're going to push up from here. A nice strong plank, hands are under shoulders. Now in our plank, think about your plank position here, okay? And just before we go, dial up to your third floor, squeezing in. Push the floor away from you, fill up in your shoulders, neutral in the head, eye gaze to floor, and dial up to your third floor. Now you don't have the floor as feedback here, okay? But here we need to know, squeeze in, visualize pulling your heels in together, and visualize, or don't visualize, do your little cough. Like what happens? So see if you can't reinforce that cough sensation as we're holding here. Asking a bit more of the body as far as strength is concerned. And then tip the toes and push back to your downward facing dog. Now, if you're in your downward facing dog, how would you reinforce your core? Can you pull back to your third floor here? Probably drawing those ribs back towards the hips and engaging the pelvic floor. Okay, there's zero feedback from floor here, but you're going to feel and understand and know if your core is switched on or not. Yeah? So making sure, if you coughed here, how does that feel? So as you can see, through all of our moves, bringing it down. Let's come back down onto those hands and knees and come back into the move we did in our warm-up. In this position, when I say to you, so we take the arm out, the leg out, you're like, oh, hang on, I've got to balance. Right, balancing here. Zero consideration for what happens in your midline, okay? Now, because we know where we're going, think about here. So think about dialing up through into your midline, into that 3, third floor. Pull in, tip the pelvis slightly, engage the pelvic floor. Maybe pull the knees in so they're nice and strong and the adductors working. Right arm out, left leg out, squeeze and hold. Reinforce your belly to your spine and the core is on nice and strong. What you might find is you get tired quicker, okay? You're thinking about a little bit more, but from here, this move is generated from the strength in your midline and the awareness in your midline. And then we bring the arm out diagonal and the leg out diagonal. This will make you work a little harder. The glutes change and we focus on that balance. Squeeze, third floor, push the floor away from you. 3, 2, 1, and bring it in. Whew, found that one harder. Yeah, so let's lift up again. Engage. Belly to spine, core pulls in, squeeze nice and strong. Hold. Think about the alignment of the hand underneath you. So there's so much to think about in these positions. We're compromising our balance here. Now we need to squeeze the belly in, out wide. Nothing else moves. The stronger you feel in your core line, you minimize that wobble. And then hold, 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 and bring it back into center. Good, sink back gently. Now, if we come into a kneeling position, I'm just going to show you here in your kneeling position. So anything in our core can be switched on, whether we're stood, whether we're lying on our back, our side, our front, sitting, kneeling. Same thing here, okay? We come in through a posture called what we call a bow pose. Now from here, and we're rolling down, if we do this with no connection through here, our lower back takes all the work. So we reinforce here, placing on. Same thing happens. Ribs to hips, pulling in here. Gently squeeze these knees in. So this is me exaggerating this move. I'm squeezing the knees in together, okay? But we can move them in. So that switches on those adductors. It means we work nice and hard here. So that's switched on. The glutes are switched on. Here is switched on. Belly draws back to spine. We're lifting up with the arms. Okay, so as we stretch here, what happens is sometimes we expand away. Now we want to reinforce the belly in without losing our height, okay? So we don't want to come here. Okay, we come up and then we're squeezing gently in. So the belly draws in, everything pulls in, right and left pulls in. We're nice and strong from here. Now, focusing on, this is our move. I'm going to show you one. We're going to come down, draw the belly in, touch gently, and then squeezing back up. So you're using the legs, the hamstrings, all sorts here. From here, anchor, this is your power point, all right? Not PowerPoint, but the point of all your power, okay? Holding here, keep the arms in line with the ears. Dropping in, exhaling down, reinforcing your core, squeezing, touch the floor, and then rising gently back up, 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 and up. And go again. Folding in, all the way down, and all the way up. Good. Go one more. Fold, all the way down. Belly strong to spine, and rise up, up, up. Awesome. Great work. Okay, relax. So as you can see, as you push back there, if you didn't reinforce here, everything in that forward bend is dependent on the vertebrae, okay? So we need to just be able to reinforce this in. It's like anything. It's when you lift, when you bend to lift, when you twist. I'm just going to do another one on our side lying, okay? So we'll come into side lying. If we're going to work in down here, pulling your belly up off the floor. So from here, you want this sensation now. You want to be lifted up off the ground. So a tiny bit of lift. So pushing in, the knees bend, okay? So sometimes when we come into this one, you're like, okay, I'll lift up through here. So visualize your t-shirt being pulled up off the floor, but then we forget to pull back. So you need to pull the belly back. Same thing applies, ribs to hips, and we're squeezing in here. Now, you can take this top leg out, and we're going to start to move around with the leg, so it tricks us to try and take our mind off of this. So we're going to squeeze and lift up through here, lift and lower through this leg. So this is your key. Your core connection is that the fact that this side waist is lifted off, and we're pulled back here, the hips are stacked. So here, this is our exercise, but we're nice and long in the side body. Okay, lift the leg up, hold it here, and then just cycle, reverse cycle back. So here we start to use the hip line, and we start to do some movement that your body might go, oh, I want to move forward or back. Let's not do that. We're going to keep that reinforcement in nice and strong. Pulling in, hold, 3, 2, 1. From here, we're going to use that top hand, give ourselves some anchorage. Now, as we lift up here, like I talked about in the anatomy of lifting up that upper body, your side waist wants to drop in a bit more. So you've got to reinforce it up. We're going to take both legs. Hold. Good. Now, pushing up out your side waist, a little bit stronger, you're going to come out of that elbow. Pulling up, and the belly button draws back. Holding here. Now, lift the legs and slightly push them forward. Hold. Nice and high. From here, turn the toes towards the ceiling. Hold. Squeeze. So this is a reinforcing holding move, using so much, as you can feel. Breathe. Squeeze. Squeeze. For 4, 3, 2, 1, and let it go. So in this one, you target hip, top obliques, bottom obliques. There's nothing that isn't moving, working. Let's come to the other side. Whew. Lengthen out. So you start by reinforcing in a straight position, okay? Bring those legs in. Bottom leg comes in, top leg goes out. So lifting up through the side waist. So you kind of make sure that you've got that little bit of room underneath you. Lifting up, up, up. Holding. Yeah, good. I can see it. Holding here, lift and lower. 7. We only do a little bit just to fire up through your glute med here. 6. 5. 4. 3. 2. And 1. Good. Let's reverse cycle. Pulling round. Now, as you reverse cycle, what I'm doing is throwing these moves in so your body will be like, oh, hang on, let me move all the way around, okay? Rock solid through the center, nice and strong. How many do we do here? I don't know. Let's do 2 more. I wore the wrong t-shirt for illustrating side body lift here. And release. Good. Now take both legs out, prop up to the elbow, lift up through your side waist, nice and strong. Lift. Good. Okay, now coming up, push, turn, slightly lift forward, and reinforce into your core. Don't hold the breath, belly strong to spine, everything is switched on here. This is isometric, this is holding. Holding, holding, holding. Similar to as you would do in a plank, okay? Holding here. 8, 7, 6. Legs higher. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And release. Good. Come on up. Come back in. Oh, how was that? Sink back gently. Stretch. Okay, let's come up through our downward facing dog, and we're going to walk to the front of our mat. So now we've rediscovered our core, okay? want to come into every move that you take here. Think about dialing up into your core. Where do you need it to go? Do you need it to work up to that third floor, or do you need the ribs to pull to hips? What do you need to happen? Can you check it through your cough? So in this halfway lift position, we squeeze the belly in towards the spine, engage and lengthen through the glutes. Exhale, folding, and then slowly rising up. And even as you stand, standing tall, and as you rise, still think about engaging through, belly to spine. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Now we're going to take this one last sun salutation as our cool down, as such. Halfway lift. Shoulders draw away from ears. Ribs pull to hips. Exhale, lower. Stepping gently back. And let's find our plank. And let's find our plank now with lots of consideration into our core. Push the floor away from you. Head in line with spine. Nice and strong into the heels, but draw the belly in. Third floor is where we work here. Now tip the hips nice and high, roll to the toes, and then into your downward facing dog. Bring some movement if you want to. Pedal out through your heels. You'll feel some adjustment in through your lower back here. Right, left pedaling. Float forward gently and bring your knees down. From this position here in our all fours, engage the belly to the spine. Inhale, lift the right arm, and then slide that right arm through. This time, let's consider this as a stretch. So our stations can be warm up. And we're slowly lifting up. Inhale, look, watch the hand all the way up, and relax. And then into the other side. Inhale, and sliding through. Soften out through your arms. Soften the arms in the ground, finding the stretch in the side of your shoulders. Still consider holding your core nice and strong. Very often when we're near the end of our moves and our practice, inhale, lifting again, then we can think, oh, I've only got a little while left. And then maybe not concentrate on our form, push back to your down dog, float forward to your plank, bring your knees down, elbows in, dropping in, chin and chest. Relax down towards the floor, rolling through. Now let the arms go, engage the belly to your spine, dial up to the third floor, and bring your thumbs back to the back of the neck. Stretching out through your triceps. And place the hands beside your shoulders, pushing gently up and sinking back. And we finish here. Soften out through the back into our child's pose. So feel free to go through that again if you want to, or come in and do feel free to come into your your savasana and take yourself into a resting pose for a while. Enjoy the session, this class. Don't forget to subscribe. Om Namaste.